Well, welcome to the 3 Kiwis and Cheese podcast
Hey.
this week.
Our first guest.
I'm Garrett,
Woo.
and we've got 3 other guests instead of just 2.
What guests? What the hell? Is this now your podcast? It's
This
just
is
the Garrett
Cheese
podcast.
with Kiwis.
What the fuck?
This is the Garrett podcast. Thank you.
What
for
the hell?
joining. I'm Garrett, and I am joined by not Garrett.
Well, I'm not Garrett. I'm Brent.
I'm also not Garrett. I'm Xhoreya. Hello.
I'm undecided.
Oh,
You may or may not be Garrett.
possibly
Yeah.
Garrett.
Possibly Garrett.
I'm
Well,
sure. I'm
welcome in,
Schrodinger's Garrett.
not Garrett, not Garrett, and possibly Garrett. I'm Garrett.
Garrett's Gang, the podcast.
The Garrett gang.
Garrett and the Garretts.
Garrett and the that's our band name.
I'm
Garrett and the
Schrodinger's
Garretts.
Garrett. For the duration of this podcast, I will be both Garrett and not Garrett.
Oh gosh.
Wonderful.
He is, but he isn't.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
He is all or not and nothing. Not all or. It's all and nothing. Oh man.
Do you want me to draw you a diagram?
No.
Yes.
No.
And then we just have to describe the diagram because it's a podcast.
No. We'll link a photo. We'll put a photo in the bio.
Oh gosh.
We'll do like we did with Adam Driver. But welcome in, Xhoreya. Is there anything that you'd like to tell our viewers about yourself? Give us a little introduction.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So I guess I'm Xhoreya. I don't know. I'm Xhoreya, and
Not Garrett. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I said
I've
your
been
name
so
wrong.
confused by all this talk of identity. I don't know who I am anymore. And I mean, I'm a friend of Wombus and Schrodinger's Garrett, and I have done YouTube videos in the past. I've kind of stepped back from that for a while, but I'm looking at getting back into it, which is exciting. And this is sort of like, a little bit of an exclusive, I guess. But yeah,
I'm honored.
like, I know. Wow,
You're the
lucky
first
you.
guest.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm the first
We
guest.
should
And
say
I'm
that.
talking
Yeah,
about,
you're
like,
the first guest. Well, I mean, there's multiple guests here. I mean, we've got Schrodinger's Garrett here as well. So.
Yes.
First
yeah,
unique
no, so,
guest.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but so that's pretty much me. I do YouTube, or have done and will do. I'm kind of Schrodinger's YouTuber at the moment, and I talk about. I kind of do retrospectives on media, so that's usually film and TV shows. It tends to lean towards kind of older media, but I talk about kind of just anything that I'm interested in, just like. Yeah, pretty much. So mostly that's about kind of reviewing and giving a sort of overall look at a particular show or movie. But then sometimes I might take kind of a more analytical approach and look at just like a specific sort of theme or element or something that I read into that particular film or show. So yeah, that's kind of me. That's my deal.
That's awesome. I mean,
Woo.
you're saying it was like with older, like somewhat older media as well, which is cool. You don't see a lot of that.
Yeah, well, I think it just sort of started because like I started doing the channel with I had a bit of a more diverse output in the beginning, and then I did a video on the Incredible Hulk TV series from the 70s, the one starring Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno, which is one of my
yeah.
favorite shows. And I didn't approach it with like, oh, I'm going to do a retrospective on an old show. I'm going to do a retrospective on a show I like, you know?
Yeah.
And then that just by coincidence, it blew up. It's like at 48,000 views now, which is amazing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm really grateful and appreciative of that. And because that did so well, I thought, well, I might do a couple more of those sort of superhero shows that came out around that time, because there was a short-lived Amazing Spider-Man series, and I also did one on the Wonder Woman series with Linda Carter. So from that, because it sort of just became like, oh, well, I did one superhero series from that era, I'll do a couple more. From that, it sort of became like my thing to look at older media a bit more. So I don't want that to necessarily be like all I do. So I do kind of pepper and other stuff, but that, yeah, I made it. But I'm happy to talk about a lot of that stuff because I actually grew up with a lot of those shows and things like that because they were shown to me growing up. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of
a lot of
interesting.
those older shows were
Mm.
put on to people by their parents. I got a good dose of Bugs Bunny,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Looney Tunes, and all that by my
Get
parents.
smart.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
Get
get
yeah.
smart. Yeah, my dad loves that one.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's
I
awesome.
especially love
yeah.
Good
So that's pretty much it.
Xhoreya's Tamagotchi episode.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
really good.
Yeah, another thing I grew up with. So I was like, I'll talk about that. And it's not all just stuff I grew up with, but I think it's kind of nice to like take a look at, I guess, older media through sort of a new lens because I didn't grow up with a lot of it. Some I did, some I didn't. And so it's kind of fun to just be like, hey, here's a fresh perspective. But then I do the nostalgic stuff too, like the Tamagotchis, which is something I've always
Oh
loved.
yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of everything, really.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Just nothing topical,
That is-
really. It's never
That's
anything that's
hey,
like never anything that just came out.
Hey, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
It's just like this
I mean,
podcast.
I mean that works sometimes. I
Mm.
mean, you draw people in by something interesting like that.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I've wanted to do the whole YouTuber thing for a while, and streaming has definitely sort of been the almost outlet for that, and then doing this podcast is just like a little bit simpler,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
it still interests me a little bit. I watch way too many video essays. Like,
yeah,
have
I love
few
love a
downloaded
good
on my
video
phone
essay.
for when my phone goes down.
That's okay.
But
Yeah. No, but I get that. I love a good video essay. And I actually did try to give streaming a go as well for a little while. I just found it wasn't really
yeah,
for me. I'm not really a super off the cuff kind of person. Like I mean, I do a lot of I host D&D sometimes. I do a lot of improv and stuff like that. But in terms of like performing, it's one thing to do it kind of with people and in a smaller group and stuff versus sort of having
yeah.
to be off the cuff live on a
D&D is a
stream to people
lot
you don't
more
know.
tight knit than just
Yeah,
for whoever decides to pop in off the internet.
yeah, and because
A lot
like
different.
I'm neurodivergent and I find that it's harder for me to just in general read social cues, but also especially when I can't see people and I'm just like either like I'm reading text messages, and it's kind of hard to tell, I guess, if things are going well on a
Yeah,
stream and stuff like that versus like being in a room with a couple people, and it's easier to sort of
yeah.
balance my energy with them and see what needs to be done and how I can kind of um perform, I guess, in that way.
It's
So
easier to
yeah.
read social cues when you can see the person's face
Yeah.
and hear their
Yeah.
voice,
It is
the tone of their voice, and all that.
surprisingly. I guess it's not really that surprising, but it is pretty
Well,
hard. I'm gonna,
yeah, when
Mm.
you're when you're just like if you know the person somewhat, it's usually pretty easy to tell.
Yeah.
Like, but when
Mm.
it's just literally just a random person, like you have no clue. You have nothing to base it off of. So
Yeah.
it's really hard sometimes.
Yeah. I think it just wasn't for me at the end of the day. It was just something
Yeah,
that it just
exactly.
felt too against my nature to sort of
Hmm.
be performing in that way when I couldn't get immediate feedback in the sense
Hmm.
of like
Well, it
hearing people and seeing people.
Yeah.
it balances out the scales for the streamer to non-streamer
Yes, it
people
does.
here.
Yeah, we got an
Yeah.
equal showing here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
true. I didn't think
gosh.
about that. Wow.
Perfectly
Wow.
balanced as all things should be.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm barely a streamer, you know.
No, don't say that.
I mean, if anyone's noticed, I've sort of backed up. I hadn't streamed. I haven't streamed that much. Little insight. I went to Rebel Force Radio meetup down in Chicago. And Rebel Force Radio is a different podcast, a Star Wars podcast that I'm
Are
a
you
patron
cheating
of.
on us?
Two great guys. Always. I was with them before you guys, so I'm sorry.
Oh, I
but
see. Oh, so where?
I'm cheating on them.
Oh,
Oh my
scandalous.
god.
Ooh.
I just like I've tripped into some saucy content. What is going on?
Ah.
Whoa.
Oh.
But no, I went down to a meetup because it's a bunch of Star Wars fans. We go to an arcade for a few hours and then go hang out at a bar and just mingle and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, no, I hadn't streamed for a
Where
little
was
bit.
it going?
Yeah, I
We
don't
were all
know where I
wondering
was
that.
going with that for a second. Yeah, I got sidetracked with the drama. But no, like I had a lot of good Star Wars conversation. Met another pretty cool guy as well. That it was his first time there, so we talked a lot. So that was fun. But I was on a Star Wars high after and came home, and I did not. What time was it when I got home? I don't usually stream till like 2 or 2:30 a.m. It was like 3:30 when I got home, and like it. I don't think I went live till like 4, and I ended up being on stream until like 6 a.m. because I started playing Fallen Order.
Yeah, I was
and
watching for a bit.
I kept going. It just kept going because it kept getting juicier
It did
and
look pretty
juicier.
juicy.
Just like
I was like, "What the fuck is
it
going on?"
dumped so much blood on me so fast. I was like, I can't stop now. Like it was such a pain in the ass. But no, I hadn't streamed in a while, to be honest, because I mean it'd been like 2 weeks because last weekend I was going out with some friends for a birthday and I didn't stream all week. I hadn't played Survivor in so long because I'm trying to play that on stream. I apparently stopped at a good point because if I had kept going, I would have gotten all that plot dumped on me. So, but
Damn.
no, streaming is definitely
It's hit and miss, isn't it? You know,
it is.
it's not hit or miss. It's
Some
hit
days-
and miss. Sorry.
Yeah, you could hit
Charging
it,
is
but
true.
also miss it.
Hit and miss.
But no, it's definitely takes something, and it's I guarantee Brent probably has this opinion as well that it's like we never really did this because we thought we were gonna make money or anything.
hell no.
You know, it
Mm.
was just because it's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because
You
it's
know.
fun.
I get that. I feel the same way about YouTube. Yeah.
I've met so many cool people that it's like it's never gonna go anywhere big, but it's awesome. I'm met a lot of friends that I would never want to. I don't regret streaming.
Mm.
So
Yet.
yet.
day will
One
come.
day I'll be in for a job interview and the interviewer will be like,
Oh, God.
so back in 2022
Some very
you
concerning.
were on Twitch and said on your stream. Why are your views like this? You know.
Why are you like this?
Why you?
There's a certain clip that I think
Why'd you sniff a Lego box?
you guys might see on the podcast one day as an emergency episode that might come back.
Oh gosh!
But
Oh my gosh!
fine.
That is a. Pray that we just.
I'm not gonna
if
pretend
we-
like I.
we're just gonna never
don't know.
miss a week. We're just never
Yeah,
gonna
I'm-
miss a week.
I'm not gonna pretend I remember this.
You weren't there, so
You weren't there, man.
it's just me and Brent.
That is incredibly insensitive of you to say to me.
It's pretty rude.
I've
to
just
be
gotta be
honest. As 2 Kiwis and cheese.
No,
we-
you didn't want to be there. You didn't want to be there.
I would honestly, I as a future employer, I would not be proud of what just happened. It is not
Wow.
exciting for me
Wow.
to hear.
Oh my
as-
God, do we
as-
need to
as a
bring in HR?
prospective-
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Can you be our HR? It's alright. Just like finesse people.
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
If I have
yeah, I
to,
mean,
sure.
'cause
You gotta be
Schrodinger's
very
Garrett
busy.
is angry.
I will be Schrodinger's HR. I both will and will not be. You can make a complaint, but I may or may not listen to it. It's up to you.
There was one night where a lot of us we decided to make a triple bendy bus,
Oh,
which for reference is like the night bus, but if it was a bendy bus, but like
Yeah,
had
from
3
Harry Potter.
areas rather than 2. Yeah. And in that one,
Sounds like
my
the double-decker couch of buses.
kind of.
basically. we each got little rooms, and my room was at the back, at the bottom, and again was storage. And I had
Excellent.
these pneumatic pipes, like I don't have a frame of reference to describe, but like where you could send messages through them, but a lot of them are often in pop culture, they're like pressurized, so you just like something shoots through them.
Mm.
I had rats, like carrier pigeons, but rats running through the pipes.
I mean, carrier pigeons are
and
just rats with wings anyway.
yeah,
Sorry to all the
Yeah.
pigeon fans out there.
No, I'm not sorry, and I'd say it again.
if
The
anything,
rats of the
Cancelled.
sky.
if anything, that's a little insulting to rats.
Oof.
I actually really
Sorry
love
to
rats,
all
to be
the
honest.
rat
I've had
fans
pet
out
rats.
there.
I've had
Yeah,
pet
wow.
rats, to be honest. I do love them.
Damn.
I'm a rat fan. I will
Rats are good.
slap
rats.
your ass,
Rat
Brent.
fanboy.
Why are you slapping my ass?
Whoa. Why we slapping asses?
As
Because-
HR for this company, I have to say
I
something
need to
about
call
it.
Xhoreya.
Feel
By
free to
the
make a
time
complaint, and I
Garrett-
may or may not receive it.
By the time Garrett gets here, I'm gonna have forgotten to slap his ass.
Oh no.
At the end of this podcast, we've probably forgotten that.
Yeah, that's
We
fair.
always
Yeah,
forget
at the
what
end
we've
of the
talked
podcast.
about, honestly. We never remember.
not a
like
we.
whenever
You guys
we upload
remember.
an episode, we're like, oh,
I only
what
remember
did
because I
we
have to
talk about in
listen
that
to
one?
it
I
on
don't
the edit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
And I-
that's the only time I remember it.
And I don't listen to anything.
He's just here. He just exists.
I get my participation award,
It's a good award though.
and I go home.
It's
I get
made
my
of
check.
chocolate. It's like one of those gold chocolate Santas.
It seemed to have got lost in the mail because
No.
Ah, what?
I
You
had
should
never
have got
received.
it. Yeah.
I wonder if it melted.
I ain't
Did
never
anyone ever
received.
get those like chocolate medals? Have you ever seen those? That would be like
Yes.
perfect for this. I've seen those. They
I've
were
seen
like
the coin.
they're like this
I
really
didn't
soft
receive.
milk chocolate, and they were like always semi-melted no matter what. You just open it and just be like sticking, like the gold foil would just be like sticking to it all the time, no matter what, and you'd be like, oh, thanks.
Great.
chocolate-
now
like
liquid
chocolate
money.
foil.
I guess if it's
Yeah.
melted, right? You get that on your sports day. Oh yeah, you won. Here's you're a
Yeah.
good player. You get your thing. You know you're hot. You're sweaty. It's all melted. You can just slip that
Yeah.
bad boy right down. You know if it's all melted. You know.
Yeah. Oh god. Unhinge your jaw and just.
Is-
It just goes right
Is this
down.
an advertisement?
Buy
Slides right down.
melty medals.
Yes,
Melty
buy
medals.
melty
Melty
chocolate
medals.
medals.
Can we trademark
Mel-
that?
Melty chocolate medals.
Melty me-
Yes.
Oh,
Mm.
gosh.
Melty medals.
Healthy medals.
That's gonna be our 2Kiwis&Cheese chocolate brand, Melty
Melty
Metals.
Medals.
Medals. Oh gosh.
Melty
Melty Metals.
metal. Melty metal.
Melty
Melty
Metals.
Sounds
We're just gonna
melting
sell
business as
like
well.
molten steel.
Delish. And they come in like identical packaging as well. So like, you know,
Oh,
people like
gosh.
buy the same.
You open the chocolate and just like this molten steel just like slops out on
It's
your
still
leg and
it's
you
still like
get 5th degree
Oh my
burns.
it's
lord.
still like a liquid.
That sounds
It's just-
horrendous.
Sounds delicious.
It's with our new patented technology, we have found a way to keep the steel molten through shipping.
Oh gosh.
So
Your-
it's super
you
fresh
get your
and
package
stable
from the
heat.
mail person and then just like it's on fire.
They're like, here you go.
Please take it. I've been
my hand
paid.
Oh gosh.
Me and Xhoreya
My
had. Oh, sorry.
no, you go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna segue off into what we were up to this weekend, and actually Ben.
Please do. Hmm?
But he went. Today.
I was there
Yeah,
today.
he went today. We all went to the
Yes.
Armageddon Expo, which is kind of like Comic Con, but
Smaller,
much smaller
Kiwis.
and
worse.
a lot worse. Yeah.
A lot worse.
I had a great time, but only because
I
of
had a
the
good time.
reason I went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we
I
go
did
into
not
it
have
too
a great
much,
time.
you didn't?
Sorry. What before we go into it?
I was just going to give the context that usually there's one Armageddon here in October, but there was a second Armageddon, which is the one that we had just now. And I don't know if that's how long that's been going on, but I don't think that's a regular thing. So we didn't even
It's
know that there
not.
was going to be an Armageddon. It was just
Double
like suddenly another one
Yeah,
that
I
we
only
went
know
to,
because
sort of at the
Whippy
last
told
minute.
me.
It's a recent thing
Armageddon, the sequel.
because
The prequel.
because they
prequel.
haven't been able to really do one. Like the past 3 years have been kind of
Yeah,
choppy.
of course. Yeah.
So I guess they're trying to make back some money.
That makes sense. But like,
By
because it was just sort of
yeah.
like, it just felt like it was thrown in there because I mean, I didn't know about it. And you know, as Wumbus just said, it was like he was just told it because of Whippy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if it was advertised that much or if it just wasn't like in our circles, but
Yeah.
it was just like an extra random one.
Was it busy when
Usually
you
there's
went
just
there?
the one.
Was it busy on Sunday? Which is today?
A little bit.
Little bit. Okay. Because when we first walked in,
Little bit.
it was like there was no one there. There was
Yeah, it was pretty
literally
dead.
no
when-
one.
Like,
A lot of
yeah,
people.
Well, what
it
time
got
did you guys
busier,
Yeah,
but it was quiet at the start.
and then there was
What
also
time do you
no
guys
one
get there?
at the end.
Mm.
I don't know, 9:30 maybe.
About 9:30.
Yeah.
About that.
And what time do you guys leave?
5.
5. Okay.
You guys were there for that long?
Well, we kind of had
Yeah.
to be. We gave him.
Yeah, the things we wanted to do were at the beginning and end.
Yeah.
Which was
Okay.
tell us about that.
Yeah, Brent, you go ahead.
So okay, we went to go because we're both me and Xhoreya are huge Doctor Who fans, right? Huge.
Yes.
So
Big
we.
So you would consider yourselves Whovians?
Yeah.
Whovian,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
very much. Yeah,
Whovian?
Whovian.
Yep. Yep. Yes, sir.
Unfortunately.
But we went in because Michelle Gomez and Sacha Dhawan were there, which are the 2 latest masters, are Missy and the Master.
Yeah, they called them Missy and
Yeah.
the Master when they were doing the calls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
just for the 2 of them, they're both the master, so you know,
Yeah.
the masters. Yeah,
The masters. But that was
They're the same person basically.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
They're 2 incarnations of the same character.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Doctor Who.
so we bought actually, should I go into? Okay, so we wanted to go
Yes.
see this panel. I'll talk about the panel before the
Yeah, do that first.
and then on all the websites, on the schedules and stuff, it all said VIP only, and we were like, oh, what the fuck? It's $300.
I was like,
for
"I'll just
VIP.
sneak in anyway."
Yeah, let's just go. Like maybe they'll let us in and whatever. We turn up, right? First of all, there was like 5 people at there, and then right, we could just walk in, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can just the VIPs. They have to sit at the front, but y'all can sit what is it, 5 seats behind them, 5 rows behind them?
Yeah, like 5 rows, if that.
Oh,
Really,
so
it was like nothing.
$300 to sit just
To sit
slightly
row
ahead of
closer.
us.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds like a convention.
Yeah.
That's
So we got
so
in,
stupid.
and it was just like, yeah, and it's like Brent said, like we got in and we were able to sit like 5 rows back. I scooched forward a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I had a perfect
and
window,
we
so-
Did you leave Brent alone?
And I was like only a row. I did ask him multiple times, "Do you want to join me?" And he said no.
I had a
But I
perfect
scooched
window
ahead a little
spot.
bit.
I was just like
I
between
couldn't
the
see,
heads.
to be
I was
fair.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
should have
couldn't
moved,
see.
but yeah.
I had to move because I couldn't see. Like I'm shorter, so from where I was, like I couldn't see them at all. So I shuffled forward a little bit, and like off to the side, and then I could see them. And yeah, and we just like sat there, and it was good. It was just the 2 of them talking. The MC was a little bit awkward, but like the 2 masters were really fun. And Michelle Gomez is really hilarious. In real life,
just
she's fun.
like
She,
Missy.
yeah, she's just her character. She's like not even acting. She just plays herself.
That's awesome. I
But
love
it's great.
that. I love
Yeah.
when actors are like that.
Yeah, and it like, and Sacha Dhawan on the other hand, like he seems like a really nice, chill guy.
Yeah.
Which like his version of the Master is the opposite of being chill.
He's more like
he's
his
so
character
over the
in
top.
Adventure in Space and Time, which I liked because
Yeah,
I liked
just
Adventure
like
in
a
Space
chill
and
normal
Time.
guy. Me too. Yeah,
yeah.
I was more interested in that with regards to him.
Yeah,
But yeah, like it was good. We just we listened to them talk and everything, and so like it went from us thinking that we had to like maybe sneak in or just see what the situation was to like, oh, we just sat in and it was no big deal whatsoever.
yeah.
And it was good.
It was
So
really
that was at like 11
nice.
or something like that. So that was earlier on in the day. And before that, we went to watch a friend of mine's sister perform at the talent show. So that was another reason. So we had reasons to be there earlier.
Mm.
And then we had photos, which I'll let Brent talk about,
Yeah.
at 4:10. So if you want to go into that, that was the reason we had to stay later.
I mean,
Yeah.
we also had to go get the. I'm gonna say they're not tokens. Okay, they said they're tokens, but they're just tickets. And I'm like, what was the point of that? I have a physical ticket anyway. You just
Yeah.
give me another piece of paper. This is dumb.
Mm.
So we went to like the ticket people, and she was a very nice lady. She was like, oh yes, I'll give you a ticket each, because even though it was one photo, like we bought for one photo, but it was both of us, so they gave us a ticket each. She was, oh yes, just so they don't get confused. Here, have a ticket each. Oh yes. Oh, that's so lovely. I'll just double check that. She was very thorough and very nice, and I very much
Yes, she was
appreciate that
great.
lady, because later.
We love you, ticket token lady.
Oh yes.
Love you.
Especially because of what happened when we went and got to go do our photo, right? So we go to the photo place, you know. We say, oh gosh, here
Yeah, we
go.
wait in line in the normal spot.
So nervous, very excited to meet them and
Mm.
have our photo. And like there's the person that like scans your ticket and takes it, but she was very lazy. So we had the very nice,
didn't
enthusiastic person, and then we have the very lazy ticket taker, who
She was probably really tired after a long day, to
Yeah,
be
it's
fair,
true.
but like she was meant to like
Fair.
scan the ticket and then like rip off a section, which
Mm.
I remember because like I wanted to keep my ticket as a keepsake. So I was a bit like, oh, could I have the ticket back? And she's like, no, I'm just going to take the tickets. And like she didn't scan them or anything.
And
So she just took our 2 tickets. But
yeah, sorry. when we were like passing the tickets through, right? I was like, oh yeah, this is the same ticket, just so like, because I saw she had the scanner thing, and I wasn't really paying attention to it before that, so I didn't really know if she was scanning them or not. But I was like, yeah, they're for the same ticket, like they're the same ticket, just in case she scanned one, and of course the other one wouldn't scan because it would have already gone through.
yeah, it's a duplicate.
Yeah, so but she just took them. And she was like, I did tell her that there were 4 too, but then she goes, oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
2
it's fine.
tokens. And so we got 2 photos with the masters.
Hell yeah.
Which
Yeah,
was
we got free photos. Great.
which was absolutely brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
one of them a funny? Was one of them
It
like a
was,
funny photo?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we took a normal photo with them. That was the first one. And then like instantly as soon as the photographer or whoever said, you know, next photo, Michelle Gomez just like immediately is like, oh, do you know what blue steel is? And we're like, yes. Which, if you don't know, is the face that Ben Stiller makes from Zoolander, where he like purses his lips and like stares down like at you, like that
Yeah.
look. And she just throws that out there, and we're like, oh yeah, okay. And so we do that for the second photo, because of course. And I said to Brent after, like, if Michelle Gomez had told me to like get down and bark like a dog, I probably would have. So like, you know, I was like, all right, well, why not?
Oh, they were
So we just did
absolutely
it.
brilliant though. I was like, oh my
It was
god.
so
There are a lot of actors I'd do that for. I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
proud. Some I'd be proud of. Like, yeah, I got down on my knees and barked for this actor. Other one, I'm like, I did it. I'm not
Yeah.
proud, but I got
Yeah.
pictures.
Like,
So
I don't consider myself generally like into celebrity culture. Even when it comes to Doctor Who people, I'm like, oh yeah, they're great, and I appreciate them as actors, but I'm not, you know, I'm not generally given to being starstruck. But in this case, like, you know, we had talked to them, and then we were in this situation, and it was just
Yeah.
so like funny and unique. I was just like so enamored and excited. It just really took
was
over,
really cool.
you know.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
So, Xhoreya, I've got a question for you.
Hello.
What wouldn't you do for David Tennant?
What would I not
Where-
do for David Tennant? I mean, I
Where
like
would
David
you draw
Tennant,
the
but
line?
gosh, I mean, like I like David Tennant, but like I know the funny answer would be like jump off a building or something, but the truth is like, you know, I'm not that
That
into
ain't that
sort
funny
of
content.
I ain't that funny, but no, I'm not that
Only if
kind of,
he's catching me, all
yeah, if he
right?
catches me, I would jump off the
It is
building.
big, strong arms.
David,
Take me, baby.
Take me across time and space, big boy.
Sweep me
Take me
off my
away.
feet.
Oh, God.
You know, it'd be great
Uh,
if he pushed you and then he caught you.
No.
I
You know?
mean, yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you let David Tennant push you off a bridge?
And catch you.
and catch me?
We're going Bugs Bunny style here.
Sure. I mean, he is the TARDIS. He can be in two places at once. Yeah,
fair.
sure.
Yes,
I will
David
let him
Tennant
push me
has a
off the bridge, okay.
TARDIS.
Oh no.
It's just him.
Yeah.
Would
Yes.
you let
Yes, of
would
course.
you let
What do you mean?
David
That's why he
Tennant
won't leave the
push
show, because he just wants to always like have access to the TARDIS.
would you let David Tennant push you, fall with you, and catch you?
Yes, definitely. That would be hilarious.
Yes.
Why not? No, but yeah. I mean, in all seriousness though, like David Tennant he was like my doctor. He was the one I started with. So I always will have like sort of that affinity kind of with him and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not really that into kind of celebrities and stuff in general, but when it comes to Doctor Who actors, like they do sort of push me over that line a bit more. And I do get more excited
Mhm.
because, you know, it's my favorite thing. So
Wow.
it's always like, hey, yes, I will jump off a bridge for and with and into you. All of that at
Wow.
the same time.
Your
Schrodinger's bridge
doctor
jump.
was David Tennant? Huh.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Mine was
kind of. I
Christopher
mean,
Eccleston. I started before you.
I went back and watched Christopher Eccleston. My first episode was David Tennant, and then I went back and watched Christopher Eccleston. But like, you know, you never forget like the first episode you watch.
I watched Christopher Eccleston first.
My
Get outta
first,
here.
my
Get out of
first
town.
episode was New Earth, I think. Oh no, I think
Yeah.
it was actually Christmas Invasion, which is a very weird episode to start Doctor Who with because it
Yeah.
literally
that's a
the
really
Doctor
weird
is
episode
right
to
at the
jump
end.
in on.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Xhoreya's is weird.
Yeah, you barely have him. I mean, don't say anything because Ben hasn't seen it. But my first episode was the one that's coming up. Actually, I don't even want to say the title of it. Never
Oh
mind.
yeah,
But it's
true.
one that yeah, never mind. But like my first episode was the first episode of the David Tennant specials. So that's quite an interesting one to start with, just because it's quite lore heavy. It's just one of those ones that like it has a lot of references back. I mean, Christmas Invasion is like that in a way, because like you have to suddenly contend with like all these supporting characters who are already there, and then there's suddenly the main character is like out of commission for a while, and it's so I can definitely see why that one is a hard one to start with. And for me, the one I started with, it was just like, even though I didn't understand what was going on, I could see that there was like cool stuff happening, and there was a cool kind of vibe to it, and you could see that there were like interesting dimensions, no pun intended, to this character, that I was like, you know, I was like, oh, this seems cool, it seems like it could be something interesting. So yeah, that's kind of what got me into it. And then I eventually started watching the classic series. I started watching. I watched like a Tom Baker episode, and it was Brain of Morbius. It was two different, like it was
Yeah.
just two. It's kind of like in the middle of things. It's not a good one to start with. But then a friend of my mum's, sorry, I'll stop talking about Doctor Who in a second.
Oh,
A
no,
friend of
keep
my
going.
mum's gifted me
Very good.
gifted me a few. She worked at a bookstore. She's, I believe, passed away at this point, unfortunately, but she gave me a few Target novelizations, which was wonderful. And I read Spearhead from Space, which
Dang.
is the first Third Doctor episode, and it is the one that I personally recommend people starting with for the classic series. I always say like maybe start with 3 and then go back to 1 and 2, because it's kind of it's the first episode in color. It's a good one to start with. There's a lot of new stuff going on there. But yes, I read the book. And that was my introduction to classic series to the classic series, was reading the novelization of Spearhead from Space and then watching it and then going from there. So yeah, that's been my sort of wibbly wobbly experience getting into Doctor Who. And now I'm listening to lots of Big Finish. I listened to some of that before. I had listened to the 8th Doctor series, and now I'm listening to more and getting into the books and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm
Deep
pretty
in the lore.
voracious.
Deep in the lore.
I'm pretty deep in it now, for better or worse. It's like a cult, but I'm in
Yeah,
it now.
I mean that's
My
fair.
Let me
my
out.
my first episode is something I think my first one's quite special to me. Um,
Mm.
and it's probably one of the ones I enjoyed the most, and it was Love and Monsters. And
Oh my
I
gosh.
really enjoyed it, and I just have an affinity with it, you know.
I remember my
God.
first.
It really
Sorry.
drew me into all of the core parts of Doctor Who, and it really introduced me to everything that I was going to enjoy going forward, you know.
I remember my
No,
first.
I started with
Oh,
Eccleston,
yeah.
but that was like way after it came out. Like I
Mm.
was a teenager by then.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
To add context, entirely
on
before when I was making a joke how I started earlier, I've only just started watching Doctor Who, so
yeah. That's why I was like,
yeah.
I didn't want to say what the next episode is up to. We just finished watching series 4
Yeah.
with Ben.
Yeah, I just want to add context for
Mm-hmm.
people listening along as to why I was kind of making that joke,
We could
because
have
I realized
updates.
people wouldn't.
We could have.
Yeah, I mean, if,
Doctor
not to
Who
put too much
reviews.
pressure on Ben for that, but like, you know, if we, you know, can continue going, I'm always excited to talk about Doctor Who and yeah, updates. Ask /interrogate Ben about what he thinks about each episode.
It's usually me asking questions anyway,
Yeah, that's fine.
and
I'm just waiting for him to
and
watch
sometimes they're
Midnight.
He already
they're
has. He's
questions
finished
that
season
don't have
4.
answers to.
That's how far.
Yeah, he's finished Journey's End,
Wow.
which is the darkest.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. So now the next one is the season of specials that comes after, which is why it's like, don't say anything.
Yeah.
No one in the comments. Don't give any spoilers, because that's where we're up to.
This won't come out for another
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It still does spoil.
Yeah,
things.
but we'll probably not have watched it by then.
But yeah,
Wait, do we even have comments?
Yeah, we've got
I mean,
the YouTube
and
email address as well.
Yeah.
Can I be honest with everyone? You can do spoilers in the comments because I don't even see them.
It's true. He said he didn't even listen to it, so there you go.
Yeah, it's fine. Yes, I
don't
want
even-
full
We'll
scripts put
relay
in the
any
comments.
non-spoilery messages to Ben if you got any.
Yeah.
I want
it
you
through a
to
filter.
email a synopsis of every episode to the email.
It'll be a great copy paste. It's just a synopsis of every Doctor Who episode. That would just you can clog up everything with that.
Oh my god!
I
Just
want
go
it
to
in
Wiki.
binary.
Oh god.
My,
Got a wiki. Oh, God.
my first
I found
classic.
okay, go ahead,
sorry,
you're good.
my first classic episode
No, you're
was
fine.
Survival, which is the last
Oh.
episode of classic
Yeah.
Doctor Who. Because
What a one to start with.
yeah,
The
I mean,
cheetahs?
yeah, I mean, it was good. It was a good episode. I really enjoyed it, and I was
It's a
like, I
good
can't wait
episode.
for the next episode. Oh, that's the
Mwah.
end of classic Doctor Who.
movie.
I mean, yeah, there's the movie.
Who's the last classic Doctor?
Okay, so the last classic Doctor of the mainline show is Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor, but there was a one-off TV movie that was meant to be a pilot for a new series starring Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor, and he's usually lumped in with the classic series. So usually the answer would be the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann.
Right.
You'll see him.
So there's sort of like,
that
yeah,
explanation. That was amazing.
thank you.
I felt
Because
that exclamation.
I've
I
heard
do
When
that
I
with
say I'm a
Star Wars.
nerd, I mean it. I friggin' mean
That's
it.
the
with
kind of
my whole
explanation I
chest.
do for Star Wars things. But actually, there's this other one obscure
actually.
thing, which kind of is, but not really.
Hey.
So the other one is usually
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a
Love
bit of
that.
a
I
weird
love it.
thing because like the movie was filmed, like it came out in 1996, so the series ended originally in 1989, and so like the movie then came out in 1996, but so it's lumped in with the classic series. So like some people might say 7, some people might say 8. I think 8 is the correct answer because he's lumped in with them.
So the reason I ask is because I've heard about John Hurt,
Oh,
and yeah, I know who he plays, but
Mhm.
like that opens up a lot of questions, and I don't want them answered in a spoiler way.
yeah, no, I'm not
Um,
gonna answer them in any way.
Yeah, that's
I'm just-
definitely spoiler territory. It's literally a massive like thing. We'll get there.
Yeah, it'll
It
happen.
gets
You'll get
answered
there.
eventually. Yeah.
Well, I've got one question. Right, I'm
I
gonna
mean, you
ask
can
it
ask.
anyway.
All right.
Is he the Doctor who was the one who fought in the Time War, like that version of the Doctor?
Well, I told you I didn't want to spoil anything, and now no matter what I say, it's going to be taken as like an answer.
Okay.
Technically, all the
Probably.
Doctors fought.
I'm not. I don't want to. I just think it'll be better if you can go
It's
into it.
Well,
possible.
the Time War started
I'll
with
give- you can-
Genesis of the Daleks. Technically,
you can have the classic Mark Hamill answer. It's possible.
Possible, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like I think it would be best to go in, not don't worry about it, and if you know that already, then that's fine. It's just you can't do anything about that. But if you can go into it and not have that confirmation either way, like it's just going to be kind of better for it,
Hmm.
Oh shit! Sorry, that's my alarm telling me to.
You should be sorry. How dare you?
Sir,
How
it's
dare
time
you?
for collab and podcast, sir.
I'll say how I found it out as well, because I was looking up what he was in after watching Snowpiercer
Oh.
when
Snowpiercer's
when that
good.
first
Can we
came
talk
out.
about Snowpiercer? I like Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer
movie.
was good.
Oh yeah.
Not the show.
Yeah,
I haven't watched the
It
show,
was
and I don't
shit.
plan to.
Snowpiercer was great.
What is Snowpiercer?
I really like that.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen,
Never seen Snowpiercer.
have you guys seen the video
Movie,
essay
yeah.
of
It's-
Willy the fairy that Willy Wonka is in the same universe? Like it's the all the
Oh,
kids.
yeah,
are
no,
in it.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's
what is
so
this show,
good.
man?
Well, watch the movie. I haven't seen the show.
Yeah,
We're not talking about the show. Fuck
don't watch the show.
the
It's not worth it.
Okay. Oh, it's not. It's a movie.
Just
okay.
for like a really quick rundown, it's basically set in like a post-apocalyptic future where like the last of humanity survives
Tilda
on a
Swinton's
plane.
in
I mean,
it.
a train. They survive on a train that just like
Chris Evans,
goes forever, and that's
Jamie
basically it.
Bell, Ed Harris. Wow, that's a star-studded.
You already looked it up anyway.
Yeah, it's just
Fine, I don't
it's a
know.
train
Watch
that
it.
constantly goes around the world because they put a camel in the sky to slow global warming, and it really slowed it, and it sent it into Ice Age.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah,
Sid the
and
Sloth was
it's
there.
entirely just a class.
It's
It's entirely just a class system that
Nice. I'll have to watch it. It looks
It's pretty good.
interesting.
It's pretty good.
it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Do you have anything else about the con that you went to, or is there
I've
anything
got my
interesting?
opinion.
Yeah, Ben's good.
Yeah, I don't think we have
Ben's-
too much else to add. We just like did the stuff, that
People
was
are
around
stinky.
games, shops, all that. Yeah,
That's all I got.
yeah, it was pretty nice.
Nerds are
They're pretty
stinky.
stinky.
Yeah, pretty
Oh.
much.
There are a number of comments that I can make about people and stuff like that, but I won't. Anyway,
We'll try not to alienate too much of our audience.
Yeah, our audience is
My
nerds too.
comment-
Yeah.
my comments are more about how COVID has affected it, because I was quite disappointed with it, because I've gone to Armageddons have been on my birthday for like a decade, and so I've gone quite often with birthday money and like gone to town. Like it's been a core of my birthday kind of weekend. Anyway, so I went and I could already kind of tell that there was less stuff even on the outside before going into any of the halls. But I went inside, and a lot of the big players weren't there. Armageddon's always had a blend between experience and buying stuff, and I think it's a good balance to have, because it's
Yeah.
kind of boring to go and just buy stuff. But I went in, and a lot of the big sort of experience kind of stuff wasn't there. Like PlayStation wasn't there. PlayStation's usually there. Xbox sometimes there. They're not there. A lot of the gaming companies usually have stuff there where they're showing off new technology or stuff like that. Like there's a lot of
Oh, it's a lot more than just like a Comic-Con sort of thing.
no, yeah, they have a lot of
That's cool.
they have esports sections. It's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Very
this
cool.
year they didn't have a lot of stuff. They have three main kind of halls that all kind of connect together, that they separate stuff out into. So the main one is usually the experience stuff. There's stores and stuff around, but it's where all the big people are. The next one, which is kind of smaller, is usually merchandise, stuff like that, and then the smallest of the three is like an artist's alley kind of thing, where a lot of people are selling their artwork and stuff like that. There was kind of everything everywhere at this one. Big, like even going into the purchasing merchandise side of it, big players like EB Games, which is basically GameStop over here,
Yeah.
wasn't there. Mighty
Wow.
Ape, which is kind of I guess Mighty Ape's kind of like Amazon a little bit, but just within New Zealand. They had like a stall that was like a third of the size of their one, the
And it was
previous
like
one.
all Funko Pops.
It was
Yeah, and that's the other big thing.
The Mighty Ape was Lego.
They had Lego as well. I bought a
Oh, there
Lego
was
set.
I bought my
the,
Botanical Gardens, by the way. That's very good. Yeah.
Oh,
I
nice.
saw that there.
Did you tell them about the
bought the
freebies?
Oh yeah, I got 2 poly bags for free.
I
as
got
well.
a freebie.
Oh my
Which
God.
did you get? Doctor Strange and the. Did you get Hogwarts one?
No, I got Doctor Strange and the Friends one, because the Friends one comes with a little lizard, so I'm gonna have a little thing for my zoo for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was all that kind of stuff, and I think that's just kind of like why a lot of stuff wasn't there was because it was the spring one, so it's not really the big one that people were expecting at the end of the year in October. So that's kind of why I think a lot of the big people weren't there. But just in terms of the selling merchandise side of it, my experience with Armageddon on previous visits is that it has a lot of collectibles that are hard to find. It's a kind of a melting pot for like hard to find collectibles and rare kind of stuff, whether it be rare because they only release certain numbers of it, or rare in terms of it's old. But over COVID, we had a lot of lockdowns in New Zealand. A lot of stores have had to force themselves into the online space, having online stores and stuff like that. And specifically, even with Lego here, a lot of stores have become more up to date with their stock, and that sort of follows suit with a lot of the merchandise stalls. There's a lot less of old stock. There's a lot of people just selling current Funko, which people like I don't want to go and pay admission to a place to go just see what I can go to a mall and find. I'd rather
Yeah,
see
exactly. You're
I
supposed to be able
understand
to
that,
find
stock,
like more interesting
rare
things
stuff.
there.
Merchandise.
Yeah, and
nowadays
all I
just
was seeing
sucks.
was
Just saying.
yeah. I've noticed that as things have become more readily accessible, you don't really have to go out to find stuff. So going to Armageddon and stuff like that, everything you'll find is already online, so it's already easy to get. So you don't really have to go out and specifically to get it. So it's not as exciting when you get in there because nothing's new, I guess. Well, I mean, there's new stuff. I'm not going to say there wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean though. I mean, for me, like just to kind of build off of that, I mean, I went in saying like I wasn't going to really buy too much, except for like a few kind of enamel pins and stuff, which I usually like to get. But yeah, I mean, I went in and it was the same kind of thing of like I used to be kind of excited by all the different kind of stuff that there was, and it did look a lot more kind of homogenized this year. I mean, I had a wonderful time just because like I wasn't there to shop. But I did notice that that was the case. And the only things that I ended up really wanting to get were the things that were handmade and unique rather than kind of like like I ended up getting this like crochet dinosaur that looks like a bee. It's very cute, but like I love it. I'm obsessed. But yeah, that's the kind of thing, because that's not, you're not just gonna like get that anywhere, and it's kind of fun to like go somewhere like that and be like, yeah, this is from Armageddon, and that's where it exists, as opposed to just like I could just click to make 2 clicks and then find it anywhere else. And I had the same thing like from years ago. I used to collect DVDs. I still have my collection, but I don't really actively search for them anymore. But well, part of what kept that going for me was going to Armageddon, and there were all the stalls that had like the old like interesting cult TV series and things like that on DVD, and the ones that were really hard to find, you just can't watch them on streaming or anything like that. And now DVDs just not available really anywhere as much now, but B, when you do find media to buy at places like this, it's usually just anime, which is fine if you want anime, but there's not as much variety as there used to be with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And not as much
I
like
should also
cult stuff.
I should say that I should preface that there was a lot of anime stuff, and anime is not really my style, so that's kind of where a large chunk of the stuff that it was not pandering, but like stuff that
Yeah,
it
there was
was
a lot of anime.
advertising to wasn't me. But so I was really looking at half of the stuff, I guess. Some of the anime sort of products there could have been that sort of collectible, hard to find, rare kind of stuff. I'm going off my experience of what I usually, and I guess I'm comparing my little sliver of what Armageddon was to my little sliver of what Armageddon used to be. So I do still have that sort of change, but I didn't really look at Armageddon as a whole, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we're talking about like how the shopping aspect of it has changed, and the people who kind of what do you call them, like the people who bring in their stuff, the exhibitors, I guess. But kind of like I mentioned before, like I had a really good time just because like I didn't come there kind of. I wasn't too worried about that. It was so more incidental for me, I guess, but I definitely do notice it. But I kind of said to Brent at the time, in the past, I had come there more for the shopping aspect of it, but this year it was more for the experience side of things because I just wanted to kind of do everything. I knew we were going to be there all day, so it was fun to kind of try and go for more because I get quite overwhelmed with the crowds and stuff like that. And so in the past, I've always just like come for a couple hours just to do some shopping and like see things and then go. But this year it was cool. It was nice to have a reason to stay for longer and have someone to walk with and talk to and kind of keep my mind off the stress of it as well. And then and go and do those experiences. Like there was like a whole section with kind of retro arcade games, pinball.
That was awesome.
Foosball.
I really liked that.
I kicked Brent's ass at foosball.
Yeah, you did.
I'm very competitive. I'm sorry, but it was fun.
Gallagher. Oh yeah, I met Whippy. In real life. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, you met Whippy?
Yeah. I had met him at Gallagher, and then like I died in this game of Space Invaders. So yeah, that kind of evens out, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you because I remember when I called you, you said you saw him, but you're unsure about whether
I was real like I don't know. I was like I was nervous to it's always nervous meeting people in real life, right? Yeah. But then also like he was with his daughter and the daughter's friend.
We were eating and they were in line.
Yeah, I don't want to like go bother them. And then I went over and bothered them. So
yeah, exactly.
So it kind of worked out. And then I met up with them again. So that was pretty good. They got to play Gallagher.
Nice. That's awesome. Honestly, I haven't really been to the only like the closest thing to a con was I guess I don't think it's technically called Milwaukee Comic-Con, but like it's not that much, to be honest. Like it feels like more of a collector's show where like people like will bring like out their like items and stuff like that, since more trade showy almost. But not like they had like a couple people signing there with like white tables, but it wasn't anything like people were lining up to see them. Like I think they had one of the Power Rangers or something there. I don't remember, but no, that's like other than like a couple Lego shows, that's like the most I've done. I'm hoping to go down to Chicago for Fan Expo previously with Wizarding World. Wow, I cannot talk. Previously Wizarding World convention. So
we had
I'm gonna try to hit that up in August this year.
Joffrey was at Armageddon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What? Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The guy that eats the tomatoes in Lord of the Rings was there too.
Yeah, he was there as well.
Oh my god.
The other person I recognized was Emily DeRaven from Lost and Once Upon a Time. It was funny. We met up with another friend of mine, and I remember like I was like, oh, right, Emily DeRaven, and I started talking about Once Upon a Time and how I used to watch it for like the first 3 seasons, and then I was like, oh, it kind of got shit after that, and I gave
Yeah,
up
it
on
really
it.
did.
Yeah, and I gave up on it, and I was like, oh, it's not very good, and blah blah blah. My friend's like, oh yeah, I really like Once Upon a Time. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Also,
Yeah, the first 3
I
seasons were
stand by
like
what
the
I said,
best,
but
and then it
still.
kind of did go to shit. I'm sorry.
I,
I
I
mean,
stand by my
again,
point, but I stand by my opinion. But
that's
at
my
the same time, I
thing.
felt bad by
also, I want to say that Xhoreya was shitting on the show right outside the room where they were having the panel talking to the guest.
Oh, you hear the kids in bed. Oh no.
That was so
Hey,
fucking funny, though.
but I was not talking
They're like,
loudly, and she
why
hadn't
would you
come
go
in yet.
in there? Why would you eat that?
We were sitting outside because it was a big open hallway, and it was one of the more quiet areas.
And all the
And to be fair,
celebrities walked past.
yeah, but she hadn't come in yet, as far as I'm aware, and I was
Alright.
just talking quietly.
That's
But yeah, I was right outside the panel talking shit about Once Upon a Time.
There's one dude in there like, I really love
They're all
you.
crying.
Yeah.
The guest comes in, it just sees all these people in tears.
I thought it was a good show. No,
Yeah.
see, that's the thing with like the things that I think are like saying like Once Upon a Time went to like crap after the first 3 seasons. I definitely agree with that, but it's something where it's like I'm like this with the Star Wars sequels. It's like I am glad that you like it. I wish I could
Yeah,
like
always. Yeah.
it with you.
Oh yeah, I would
sort of
never,
thing.
I don't ever want to give anyone a hard time for liking anything. It's why I said like sorry to my friend, I would not want to
Yeah,
make anyone
exactly.
feel bad for liking something. It's just that I don't. I liked the
Yep.
first 3 seasons. I still have nostalgic memories for them. I mean, I personally
Yeah,
think it started to
exactly.
go downhill before that point, but like I
It's
was
gonna
still
really
hanging
drop
on.
off.
And then it was when they introduced Elsa, and I was like, "Oh God!" And I can't do it anymore. I give up. I'm not watching freaking
They
Elsa
want
from
that
Frozen
Disney
right
money,
after that
baby.
movie just came out. Because it was always like, yes, obviously it's a Disney show and these are Disney characters and stuff, but like it was always sort of within like plausible deniability because it was like, oh, it's Snow White and it's
Yeah, it
Cinderella
wasn't
and it's
exactly those characters. It was because like
yeah,
that's what Disney pulls from. Disney
yes,
pulls
yeah.
from
It,
like non-trademark stuff.
yeah,
It's
it
like
felt like it was
those are
yeah, it could still be
facts.
its own thing. And then you bring in Elsa, who looks exactly like from the movie, and this is obviously like a very specific
Did
character.
they
It's
bring
not
in
just the
Pumbaa?
Snow Queen.
They should have brought in Pumbaa.
I don't know, probably. They brought in Mulan as
Buzz
well, which
Lightyear.
again, she's a character from folklore, but like, yeah, it just crossed the line for me. I was already like hanging on by my fingertips at that point, and that was my that was it. That was when I stopped watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how
One of
I
my
did the show in front of the actor, I guess, kind of.
one of my lectures was like it's like it wasn't a lecture, I guess it was more like a presentation in a class format. Was a guy talking about I can't remember the word, starts with B anyway. But how
Right.
they'll take like cultural like stories and then make them for children, but they'll remove a lot of the meaning and stuff like that for them. And he was talking about like that stuff, and he's like, give us some examples of like a Disney movie that's taken a thing and what the original story was. And my first thought was Hercules, and how much they really played
Yes.
on the love story. They like Hera was a loving mother and all that. She wasn't even the mother.
Laughs in
Hated the
Hera.
guy. Yeah. And then just the love story between Hercules and Megara, and then I'm sitting here like he kills her in a clouded rage given to him by Hera. It's just like
And then the
knowing
obvious
what
thing
happened.
that he should be called Heracles as well.
Oh yeah, of course. I've come to
Yeah.
terms with that. Like
Okay.
it's yeah. And then like you see him do the labors, and I'm like, well, no, that comes later. Penance for murdering his wife and child.
This isn't in the law.
Yeah, it's just it's so like this is a pet peeve I have with anything Greek mythology, any like show, movie, anything where they make Hades the villain. I despise it because Hades was not a bad guy.
He's just
You
doing his
know,
job.
he did his job. Yeah, I would say Zeus is the bad guy. You know,
Zeus is
he did
definitely the bad guy.
he fucked some shit up. linking it all the way back around to TV shows that you watched, you kind of enjoyed for a little bit, and then you just like it went down the shitter. The Flash, like
no.
I never watched that.
The Flash is finally finished.
I
You
heard
know,
about that. Yeah.
it's fully finished, and I'm happy I left. It went to
Yeah.
9 seasons. I got
Oh,
halfway
shit.
through season 4 and then just left.
That's a lot of running.
How that?
Yeah.
That's more running than Forrest
Bro
Gump.
got
you know?
fit.
You'd think you'd be tired at that point. I don't know.
I ran
Like-
and I
Flash,
ran.
run.
Yeah.
Flash more like the gentle jog by that point.
The
light power
worst
walk.
part is, for the first 3 seasons, I'm not sure how it went for the 4th season because I gave up. How he beats the villain, he runs faster. That's literally
Run,
it.
Barry, run.
Sounds about.
I gotta
sounds
go
about right.
faster. I gotta go
Villain comes
faster
in.
than
Gotta go
ever
fast.
been. Ah!
The villain comes in. Villain can run faster than the Flash. Flash is like family, kind of like we are. His girlfriend, his
Pulls a
wife,
Fast and
girlfriend,
Furious
whatever
on
she
him.
was. Literally, like she's like, "You're not the Flash. We're the Flash." That's the finale as well. It's like it's all split between all of the supporting cast. They've all got powers.
What?
Everyone gets powers. It's like what? And their time is all split between. I watched a full like video essay about it because I was just like,
Oh, was this
I
with my
wanna know
friendly
what-
space
actually
ninja?
watched the show.
I've seen that.
Felt that.
it's like the show is just.
We run faster as a family.
The Flash is my favorite DC superhero. The TV show, disgusting.
Yeah, why?
But then again, I will spin a positive. Grant Gustin, he was pretty good.
Grant Gustin can do no
I'd
wrong in my
say-
book.
He did a good Flash. He had terrible lines. His acting was pretty good.
Yeah.
He did well.
He did what he could.
He flashed
Yeah,
pretty well.
He
Oh god.
gets a
I
participation
don't think
award.
you want that. I mean,
As
certain
the HR
businesses
person
like
in
it,
this
but-
chat, let's not talk about flashing.
Oh my
We'll talk about
gosh.
another one of the heroes. We'll talk about Kid Flash. How do you feel about Kid flashing?
I'm kid
Stop.
flashing.
That,
I am
as
against-
HR. As
I'm against kid flashing.
Oh my god.
don't
For
flash
legal
kids,
purposes,
kids.
this is not.
Stay in school.
Yeah.
What about reverse flashing?
Ooh.
You put your clothes on.
You put more pants on.
You're naked and you just put clothes on in front of them.
That is not what
Like,
I
just
thought
like-
at all. I thought like
Unbreaking eye contact as you put clothes on slowly.
You run up naked. You don't run up naked to someone on the street and put on a bathrobe.
Like, what?
Are
I
you
mean,
just
I guess
carrying
that's
that
less
or like
suspicious.
with the
It's just
No, you manifest it. You know, you run up to someone naked, it just
Yeah.
falls out of the
Oh,
sky.
I thought you were gonna say it falls out of somewhere else.
No. I mean, you could fit a lot up there, but dang, whole bathroom, bro, dang.
oh god.
Damn.
I'm not sure where we're sitting at for time because I've modified my time.
It's been an
Oh,
hour.
yeah.
It's probably a good point to wrap up.
Yeah.
Thanks
Oh
for
no,
thanks
but
for
we
coming
were having
on. Thanks
such
for
a
joining
great,
us.
so much,
productive
Xhoreya.
conversation about flashing. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh god.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
HR is gonna have to wrap that up.
Yep. No, I'm gonna have to sanction you all. Gonna have to
Plug-
come see me in my
plug your
office.
shit. plug your stuff.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, I do YouTube, so come and see my YouTube channel. It's the same as my name here. And I'm gonna be working on some new videos coming soon. So yeah,
Very
go
cool.
check it out.
Very cool.
Can you give us like a sneak peek elevator pitch for one of the videos for the children at home?
Spoilers.
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna do. I've actually got 2 kind of in the works, and I'm not sure which one's gonna come first. I'm kind of like flip flopping between them, and it's just like whichever one.
Just
I end up
working a
finishing
little on
first.
one, working a little on the other one, sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
I feel that.
Yeah, and then whatever one ends up being first. So one of them is about a film franchise, and one of them is about a TV series, and that is your exclusive sneak peek.
Great.
Let's go.
Wow.
Is the TV series The Flash?
Enjoy.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, it's about the
folks.
Flash. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, it all comes full circle.
It's not. It's not even about the show. Or the
It's about
movie.
flashing.
it's about flashing.
Yes.
It's
Great.
the act.
It's gonna be
That's
called
why I
a
took a break
Flash
from
retrospective,
Just-
but it's just gonna be about the history of
Flashing.
people flashing at the other people.
Oh, God.
my gosh.
I'll get like banned before I even come back.
Oh
YouTube's like,
man, but
I'm
that-
gonna
it's been a
no.
lot of fun. It's been a lot of
And
fun.
on that bombshell,
Woo.
thanks for
Thanks for
listening.
yeah.
Shoot us some reviews, some comments. Shoot us an email.
What's your opinion on flashing?
or just shoot us.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think
Flashing,
about
yay or nay?
flashing?
Are you a flasher?
Are you?
We want to know.
That's what we want to invite that kind of.
Thanks, guys. I'm gonna.
Bye.
We're done.
Good
Bye.
night.
We're not
Bye.
flashing people. We don't endorse flashing. Bye.